You know what's crazy? People are always in my fucking business worried about what I'm doing. What Floyd is doing, what Floyd ain't doing, what I do got, what I don't got. Just know, I'm gonna stay in my lane, I ain't gonna fuck with nobody, and I don't want nobody fucking with me. If I go on vacation, my fault.
You come home, uh, I'm gonna put you in a better position. Uh, Either for you to go Rick Ross, that's a slap in the face.
So Floyd Mayweather just sent some warning shots to Charleston White advising him to back off of this Big Meech drama or face some real consequences. But Charleston isn't backing down, refusing to be bullied for speaking his mind. Charleston has been doing multiple interviews since he got out of jail, and in one of those interviews, he dropped his 2 cents about the Big Meech 50 Cent situation. Although Charleston admitted that there is no proof that Big Meech snitched on anybody, he also said that 50 Cent was right to crash out because Big Meech and his son betrayed him by linking up with his ops. However, one of the ops in question, aka Floyd Mayweather, was not a fan of Charleston's comments, and he's decided that if he ever runs into Charleston, it's on sight. So is Floyd Mayweather really trying to help Big Meech and his family get back on their feet? Or is he in this to mess with 50 Cent? Sit tight, because we're about to spill every bit of this tea.
This be a perfect example on you gotta be very careful on who you bring in and who you put on. That's Little Meech right there. And if you don't know, he's the son of Big Meech. And if you don't know who that is, well, Big Meech was one of the biggest drug dealers in Detroit, blah, 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 blah. Anyways, long story short, he went in jail. He came out of jail and he started linking up with 50 Cent's ops. Now, bear in mind, 50 Cent made BMF and put Little Meech on BMF without any acting skill.
Guys, the Big Me drama is boiling over at this point, and it's taking almost everyone down with it. The latest people to get dragged into the drama are Floyd Mayweather and Charleston White, and trust me, it's as messy as they come. In a recent interview, Charleston weighed in on the ongoing beef between Big Meech, Lil Meech, and 50 Cent, and he dropped some pretty surprising bombshells. He started by talking about how he doesn't really believe 50 Cent's claims that Big Meech is a snitch because he hasn't seen any paperwork proving it. He criticized those who claimed that Big Meech used Tammy Cow to set Cuffy and others up, saying people need to do their research before making these claims.
Saying people need to do their research before making these claims.
When you do your research, you find out that there's no paperwork on Big Meech. So if you go do your research, you find out that there's no paperwork on Big Meech. That's why you hadn't seen no paperwork. It's all hearsay. Somebody saying he told, or somebody saying he used Tammy Cowens to set up Cuffy. Well, when you do your research and you look at the court documents that's on Big Meech, you see that Tammy Cowens took the stand and said that she did this on her own accord without Big Meech's knowledge.
Charleston then went on to take sides with 50 Cent and put Big Meech and his son on blast. He said he doesn't blame 50 for crashing out the way he did because 50 had Big Meech's back when nobody else did, not even Rick Ross. 50 got Mimi cleaned up, sent him to acting school, which he paid for, and then put him in a series that put millions of dollars in his pockets. While Big Meech was in jail, 50 basically stepped up and became a father figure to Lil Meech. According to Charleston, anyone would be mad if they did what 50 did for someone only for that person to go and link up with their enemies. He called Big Meech linking up with Rick Ross a slap in the face, saying he and his son deserve anything 50 throws at them as revenge.
From 50 position, I go get your son, and at the time when I meet your son, he's not making the best decisions in life. You know, they say he was strung out on them perks, and they like to pop them perks. 50 take him somewhat I wouldn't say clean him up, but spend 2 years in acting classes that 50 paid for. It was hard finding somebody to play the role of Big Meech, so we picked your son. 50, according to 50, he's put over $5 million into the pockets of Lil Meech and the family's, financial, over $5 million. He's helped them make. Nigga blew your son up, and we bring you back to life. Prior to the BMF series, Big Meech was buried alive. Wasn't nobody saying his name. Jeezy wasn't really shouting him out no more. He was buried alive. So 50 bring life back to him, put his son in a position, turn his son into a millionaire, and he actually turned out to be a pretty good actor. You come home, I'm gonna put you in a better position. For you to go fuck Rick Ross, that's a slap in the face.
If you guys recall, all of this started because Big Meech linked up with Rick Ross to get some cash to float him when he got out of jail. Mind you, none of this would have happened if Lil Meech hadn't squandered all the money 50 put in his pocket. When they worked together, 50 Cent felt violated when he saw that Big Meech had gone behind his back to collaborate with Rick Ross, which led to 50 exposing Big Meech as a snitch. At the time, Lil Meech confronted 50 in the DMS, explaining that Big Meech did what he did because he needed the money. He said, "They just told me you unfollowed me off Instagram, and now you managing Skilla Baby when I brought him around you first, when you didn't even have a clue who he was. Now you mad at me when I would take the shirt off my back for you. I can't believe this, man. You act as if I'm your enemy. I've only showed you love and loyalty. I'm human. I go through my own but I never switched up on you, F. Ross. But he gave my dad some bread, so he can afford to pay his bills until our next season starts. This internet is throwing me off, man. You know me in real life. It looked like Lil Meech was trying to get back in 50's good graces. But 50 wasn't giving him any slack. Instead, he announced that he was canceling the BMF series, basically cutting off Lil Meech's money supply. This exchange left people with mixed reactions, because while some thought Lil Meech was right to apologize, others thought he should have stood up to 50 for disrespecting his father. Boozy had some very strong opinions about this.
I was like, damn, seemed like him and 50 got a, because after that thing came out, how Meech was talking all, no, all y'all, I'm with my dad, but I ain't like his response, but it seemed like he got a genuine love for 50 Cent on him, and from when I was reading it, he seemed like he caught in the middle, but he caught in the middle. That's what it seemed like from me reading it, but I would have been like, you.
Right, because it's your father.
My daddy.
However, you can't deny that 50 cutting Lil Meech off will seriously affect his earnings, because 50 was the one who put him on. You would think that Big Meech and Lil Meech would at least try to get 50 to have a conversation with them about continuing the show. But that's not what they did. Instead, they drew the battle line by hanging out with more of 50's enemies, especially Lil Meech, who has been SP noted chilling with Floyd Mayweather multiple times. Big Meech and Lil Meech have posted multiple photos of them hanging out with Floyd and Rick Ross in the last few weeks. Lil Meech even shared a bunch of photos with both men while they were kicking it up at the Lucky Strike bowling alley in Miami. He captioned the photo "Real Power," which honestly sounded like a direct jab at 50. In another post, Lil Meech shared photos of himself, his father, and Floyd at an undisclosed location. More recently, he shared a video of him and Floyd having a good time sitting courtside at a Lakers game. With their ongoing beef with 50 Cent, there's no way you can convince anyone that they didn't intentionally do this to jab at 50, as 50 Cent and Rick Ross have been sworn enemies for years. The beef started because Ross felt like 50 gave him a dirty look on stage when they performed together. From that point on, it was a full-on war between them. They dissed each other through their songs and interviews. 50 doesn't miss any chance To throw Ross back to his officer Ricky days, he believes Rosie is cosplaying the gangster life while actually being a correctional officer at heart. In a 2015 interview with Tim Westwood, he literally called Ross a fraud.
What about you and Rick Ross?
That is desperation at the points that you hear things from him at this point. You know, because if you're looking for someone, it ain't that hard to find me. You know, I'm around. And I'm not used to having an altercation with law enforcement. I'm just not used to saying I'm going to do something to a correctional officer or to a police officer or anyone who's been under oath that's going to say with no problem everything that you've said and everything that's happened immediately after, like, you know.
In another interview, 50 called Rick Ross irrelevant, saying he doesn't respect his career at all. As for Rick Ross, he also hates 50 and believes he's nothing but a big botuk.
I took a picture with Rick Ross. You like a hoe. Put your back against the wall and just slide down. You already know, car show going down June 7th. Get online right now, get your tickets right now. But for the hustlers, I want y'all to understand you gotta stop making business personal. Get your money. You don't know these don't know you. And for anybody going against Ricky Rose, let me have this. I've been putting my foot up you since for the last 15 years. Everything you touch crumble. Why you think Rose on top? We don't take this shit.
Then, you can sort of understand where the drama is coming from. However, with Floyd Mayweather, it's more surprising that they hate each other so much now, because they used to be as tight as brothers in the past. Floyd and 50's beef is probably the messiest drama he has ever been involved in, which is saying a lot, because 50 takes his feuds very seriously. Back in the day, 50 and Floyd went everywhere together. They even appeared on the cover of XXL together, proving they were loyal to each other. However, everything changed in 2012, when Floyd got convicted of DV and was sent to jail for a few months. While he was in jail, 50 stepped up and tried to manage Floyd's companies TMT, the Money Team Boxing Promotion and Mayweather Promotion Company, because Floyd asked him to. However, 50 quickly discovered that the work was much more than he had bargained for, because the businesses weren't registered. 50 had to start everything from scratch after sinking $1 million of his money into fixing Floyd's mess. Floyd turned against him when he got out of jail. He refused to match 50's investment or pay back what he owed and started accusing 50 of trying to take over his company. While Floyd was running this smear campaign, 50 and others were busy doing a Let's Get Floyd Back in Pocket campaign, which was basically a fundraiser like the one Rick Ross wanted to do for Big Meech.
As he was actually going in to jail, he asked me to help him with Mayweather Promotions.
Right.
Then as he actually got in and I took a look, I realized there is no Mayweather Promotions. There's no LLC, there's no seal, it's not incorporated, it's just
the name.
Yeah,
that comes out people's mouths.
Right. See, technically, Floyd is a Golden Boy fighter. You see what I'm saying? He fights on every Golden Boy card. They do all the footwork on
like
every
the
show.
Negotiations and the imprint, the paperwork.
They built the whole show. So when he says helping with Mayweather Promotions and it's not there, I go, okay, I know what he means. He wants me to
get it together.
Put it together for him. So I do TNT Promotions. I get it all the way together. Sign the actual fighters. We got acquisition of Gamboa. It's like I had a negotiated release. It was 1.2 million. Andre Durrell, IBF champion Billy Dip, WBA champion Celestino Calabero. So we brought them over. I brought them over while Floyd was, incarcerated.
Yeah.
Then he comes home. There's the Let's Get Floyd Back in Pocket campaign that goes on, where it's $300,000 chains being bought and buying new Lamborghini and all these new things, and I'm sitting there going, yo, when you gonna give me the money?
Cause you're already invested.
Right, like when you gonna give me your half of the money back. But I ain't trying to press him because he just got out of jail.
Right.
So it's like, let him cool his heels before you.
Was that in the millions?
Yeah.
Okay.
So you sitting there, Big, and I'm like, yo, so when, but see, the fighters are an asset in themselves. They are that talent, regardless. Right. You know, so I'm looking at him going, so there ain't no pressure there, but I'm saying, when is he gonna say he wants to, you know, to give me the other half of it? Why I gotta ask you for it?
Right.
And then when
Are we talking over $2 million?
It's about that.
Oh, okay.
At that point, it was, you know, invested in.
All right.
So look, he goes, when he finally does bring up the actual, the situation, he acted like he didn't know anything. Like, I didn't tell you how to do that. I didn't tell you to do that.
Oh, man.
And I'm looking at him, and he looked in my face saying, you tell me to do that.
You tell me to do that. Y'all already know 50 is big on loyalty. So he was not about to let Floyd get away with creating false narratives about him. However, when 50 finally responded, he ended up looking like the bad guy Floyd doubled down on his stance, calling 50 a male boxing groupie with a failed music career. At first, they told the media that they had reconciled and were back to being friends. However, their relationship quickly went from bad to worse, with both throwing jabs at each other. Floyd would clown 50 for having a terrible relationship with his son Mears, while 50 would put Floyd on blast for sleeping with his best friend's woman.
Look at the computer say, Floyd said, yeah, Nelly 50. I'm like, what did he say me for? Nelly your first baby mama, Melissa, then took your fiance, say that.
At some point, 50 White even accused Floyd of being involved in the tragic demise of Earl Hayes and his wife Jessica. 50 White said, tell everybody while he was on FaceTime when he of Jessica and himself, because he was confronting you about effing his wife. But just when it looked like 50 would back down, he went straight for the jugular. He challenged Floyd to read a page of Harry Potter, promising to donate $750,000 to any charity of his choice if he could go through with it.
LELS challenge for you, Floyd. If you could read one full page of a Harry Potter book, nigga, I'll give $750,000 to whatever charitable organization you want to. The bucket of ice, man.
Although Floyd clapped back by posting photos of checks totaling over $72 million, proving he didn't need to stoop to 50's level, Floyd could never really get rid of the illiterate man allegations. In response, Floyd challenged 50 to get in the ring and settle their beef the old-fashioned way. Although there were rumors the fight would be held in 2014, it never did. Fast forward to 2018, Floyd made another petty move by inviting Tiara Marie, who was suing 50 for revenge porn, to perform at his nightclub. This was the last straw for their friendship, and Floyd cemented their hate by dragging 50 in an open letter on IG. He called 50 a snitch, clowned him for having a failed music career, and called him a bitter and jealous individual who couldn't even have a decent relationship with his son. It was a full-on attack that completely ruined any scraps of brotherhood that were left between them, so you can understand why 50 felt so salty when Lil Meech and Big Meech popped out in photos with Floyd. Never W to let things slide. 50 immediately fired back with his own shots. In one post, he shared a video of Lil Meech talking to Rick Ross and joked that they were discussing plans for Ross to gift Big Meech chicken wings from his fast food franchise. 50 also took a shot at Lil Meech in one post where he compared Lil Meech's acting skills to that of Michael Rainey Jr., the star of 50's award-winning series Power Book 2. Ghost Michael had won a NAACP award for his performance, and 50 didn't waste the opportunity to take jabs at Lil Meech. 50 also shared this AI-edited video where he seemed to put Lil Meech on blast, saying he wanted to show Lil Meech the good life, but he was bent on following his dad's footsteps.